Hi, I'm Emily Elias.
And I'm Tom Wiggins, and this is Desert Island Dips, the podcast where we pit condiment against condiment and ask, if you were trapped on a desert island, which 5 dips would you take with you?
Currently on the island, ketchup, mayo, brown sauce, mustard, and the controversial guacamole. Still on the island.
That's how I'm going to ask for it from now on.
Controversial
Could
guacamole,
I have some controversial guacamole?
This episode is about the southern staple.
What accent was that?
That was a southern accent.
Southern where?
It's like a southern belle. BBQ sauce.
Well, that was better. The first bit, you sounded like someone putting on an English accent. God blimey, governor. Have we got some barbecue sauce?
I'm trying things here. I'm trying to keep it jazzy.
Yeah, it's jazzy, all right. Carry on.
Tom, what are your initial thoughts on the barbecue sauce?
I want to stop being so negative about every single one that we talk about, because I don't feel it's going to make
it's brown sauce, you seem really negative.
Yeah, it's going to make all the listeners think that I hate everything and I'm the wrong person for this, and then they might start a campaign to get rid of me. I feel that way too. But
if they want to replace us, then good luck.
Good luck.
Find 2 other people who are willing to donate
their
time and their energy to making this podcast.
I feel that barbecue sauce is probably, for me, it's the brown mayo.
Oh.
Like I would take it for lubrication purposes, but not much more. I mean, there's more flavour to it.
There's way
obviously,
more flavour than
but
mayo.
As in, I would almost always prefer something else.
Well, I've got a job on my hands to convince you.
Convince me, yeah.
That brown sauce, or that barbecue sauce.
You can't just call it brown sauce. That's not. There's already one of those.
Okay, shall we get in our Desert Island Dips time machine?
Yep.
Okay, so nobody really knows when the term barbecue originated.
But you're going to tell us.
But we're going to hop in our time machine to the 17th century,
okay,
when the Spanish stumble upon the Caribbean, and
there's Caribbean if you're English.
The Caribbean, and they noticed that the natives are slow cooking their meat on a wooden platform, and they called it barbacoa. So that's probably where it came from.
I get the feeling that might be it, yeah.
So I tried, in the quest to find the history of this, I looked for the guy who wrote the book on barbecue, and his name was Robert F. Moss.
Okay.
And I sped read the first 129 pages
of
his book because I was desperate for information.
What's the book called?
It was called Barbecue, or BBQ.
Yeah.
The History of an American Institution.
Okay, yeah.
I could only get to the first 129 pages for free because the rest of the book was behind a paywall.
Oh, yeah, well, it's not worth it. There's nothing else in there that's worth reading.
There was limited relevance to what we're talking about. So apparently, not just a sauce, but a cooking style.
Yeah.
And it was adopted by the early English colonists.
Okay.
And it took root in Virginia and then became a part of plantation culture, and it spread through the Carolinas, Georgia, Tennessee, Kentucky. And barbecue was like a traditional way to honor politicians and troops and just host these really sort of like parties where you'd sit around and have your slow cooked meats and
a celebratory banquet.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Like families, church groups, plantations had a really big history. We're going to talk about some slavery this go around.
Okay, good.
And often it would be the black workers, black cooks, who would be butchering the animals, chopping the wood, digging the pits, and tending the fires for days to create this like barbecue, slow roasted feast. So it really has like roots in African American culture.
Yeah.
And out of this, there kind of became 4 main sauces, 4 like regional sauces in the barbecue belt. You got your Carolina, your Texas, your Memphis, and your Kansas City.
Wow.
I know.
This is way more interesting than I thought it was going to be.
I will take that as high praise. So these 4 different sort of like barbecue sauces are heavily influenced by the immigrant population that is there. Yep. So your Carolina, your South Carolina, or your North Carolina is very vinegar based, and that's because a lot of British people settled there, and so they wanted that sort of like tart sort of sauce. Your South Carolina got a lot of French and German immigrants there.
Yep.
So they wanted more like mustardy based kind of sauces. And then as you move into Texas, got a lot of German immigrants and a lot of cattle. So they wanted something that would work well with beef, whereas in the South, it was like 5-to-1 was the ratio of pork, of how much pork you were eating to beef.
Okay, right.
So that there's like, you get like a different flavor profile with the Texas one. Memphis, they kind of have like this sweet tomato-based barbecue sauce that they're trying to rock. And it's like has more, because like it's along Mississippi River and there's more goods trading, they had access to like molasses and sugar. And that's kind of why it has like a different flavor profile than what you get in Carolina. And then we get to Kansas City, which is basically the best bits of all of them amalgamated into one sauce. And it's probably the sauce that we are more familiar with when we say like barbecue sauce. Yeah. Your Kansas City.
That's the flavor that you should, that's the city you should think of when you eat a standard barbecue sauce now.
Yeah, like sometimes if you go to like one of those trendy barbecue restaurants and then you're like, oh, I've got a selection of sauces on the table, and you like pull out the Carolina and you're disappointed because it's just like, I just put vinegar on my stuff.
Interesting Kansas City fact.
Go on.
It's not in Kansas.
What?
It's in Missouri.
Yeah.
Crazy, isn't it?
Is it Missouri or Missouri?
I say Missouri.
Because I've heard people say...
Are they from there?
Yeah.
Well, then that's probably what it is.
Well, I don't know. I don't know if they're having a joke on me.
I don't know.
Missouri.
It's not a very funny one if they are.
Barbecue humor. So I did like a lot of different weird journeys to find information.
That's really what I'm looking for from this whole thing. Yeah.
So at first I was like, I got really caught up with one barbecue sauce called Maull's barbecue sauce.
Maull's?
Maull's. Maull.
Okay, right, yeah.
And it was like purporting to be like one of the oldest barbecue sauces that was ever made. And so
I mean, anyone can say that, can't they? We need some proof.
Yeah, and I was like really digging into it, and so I was trying to get the obituaries for Louis Maull from the
because if it's not in there, then it's not true.
No, so I was like bugging librarians in St. Louis if they could pull up the microfiche and scan it and send me a copy, and they were so lovely. They did. But then
because they've got nothing better to do.
Yeah, of course. No, I think they were genuinely being like so helpful and lovely over email, but like the obituaries didn't have anything in them.
What, nothing at all?
No, it was just like, he died. His funeral is at this date. He is survived by 8 other people named Louis Maull because he was the big barbecue sauce baron of the region.
Like the Mark Beaufoy of Kansas.
Yeah,
they've all just got the same name.
Like I think
do you remember how long ago this? What we're talking?
We're talking like 1875-ish, around then. So I then decided, St. Louis, I love you. I'm gonna go check out Kansas City and see what's happening over there. And I had a bit more luck. I found a guy named Henry Perry, and so far, he's a normal name guy, which I would like to point out is not usual for this podcast. People tend to have really weird names.
That's true, actually, isn't it? Yeah.
Well,
Mr. Ewan.
Yeah.
And what was her name? Mrs. Wang.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pamela Wang.
Let's not get into that again.
So Henry Perry, he is known as the father of Kansas City barbecue, and he was the first to found a barbecue restaurant in Kansas City.
Okay.
So he was born in 1875 in Shelby County, so 10 years after slavery had been abolished. And Shelby County is near like Memphis, Tennessee, and he was along the Mississippi River. So when he became 15, he started working on the steamboats, and he would go up and down as far as Chicago to Minneapolis, just cooking and doing odd jobs on the steamboats. In 1907, he landed in Kansas City, and he's like, look, I got all this experience. I'm going to try find a job where I'm not on a boat because let's be fair.
It's not the best life.
No, it sucked to live on a boat. And he gets a job as a porter at the Quality Inn Saloon.
That sounds good.
I'm all right.
I mean, if you're going to call it anything, might as well make it sound good like that.
So he's only at the saloon for 1 year. And then after that, he is like, I'm going to go try make my own like stand. So he gets a stand in an alley in the garment district, and he starts selling smoked meats that he coats with his own sort of special barbecue sauce. And it was incredibly popular. It was described as a raucous stand in the 1920s and 30s.
Oh, I can just imagine what was going on there in the 20s if it was described as raucous. People showing their ankles.
He moved from like the alleyway. He graduated to an old trolley barn.
Nice. So business is good.
So business is going really good for him.
Yeah.
And one thing that was like really noted out of all this research is like he served rich, poor, black, white.
Yeah.
Everybody.
Good guy.
Yeah.
Good condiment
Everybody
guy.
paid 25 cents for some hot meat that he smoked over oak and hickory and wrapped in some newspaper. Menu items included beef. And possum, woodchuck, and raccoon.
Possum.
Those were barbecue standards of the day.
What's a woodchuck?
I don't know.
It's in that tongue twister, isn't it? How much would woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood?
It's like a rodent-y type thing.
Let's have a look. Yeah, it sort of looks like a groundhog.
Yeah. So he's serving it up.
Oh, hang on. It is a groundhog. Groundhog, also known as a woodchuck.
There you go.
There we go.
So he is serving it up. But he kind of got like some criticism about his sauce being a bit too harsh and peppery.
Mate, if you can't handle it, don't eat it.
This is it. And Perry really loved barbecue, and he really saw it as a way of like taking on apprentices and sharing his love and passion with other people.
Those good condiment guys.
Oh, they're such good guys. And so he died in 1940 at the age of 66, but his whole condiment,
the legacy,
it completely lived on because he had trained up this guy named Charlie Bryant, who ran the business for a little bit, and he trained up this other guy named Arthur Bryant. And Arthur ended up taking over the business and making the sauce a bit more palatable. And he was a guy who loved barbecue too. He went to an all-black college in Texas and graduated in 1931. And then he decided, I'm going to go travel and see the world, but only got as far as Kansas City, met up with his brother Charlie, and then started becoming an apprentice for Perry. And he just kind of got sucked into this world of barbecuing, and he just loved it. So his restaurant was described as the quintessential barbecue joint and had regulars such as President Harry Truman.
Nice. I mean, that's a good way to get off the ground, or raise your profile, isn't it? A celebrity endorsement like that.
This is going to be a bit of a twist. Bryant dies.
Oh.
He was found dead of a heart attack in the bed that he kept in his restaurant.
Oh, he's a committed worker, isn't he?
Well, I think it's because, like, you know, if you're operating the smokers, somebody has to be there 24 hours.
How long he was in charge or involved for?
I think until like the 90s.
Okay, right,
so.
yeah.
But his restaurant is still standing today.
Yeah, good.
Other people have taken it over, and it is called the single best restaurant in the world.
I see that Henry Perry was inducted into the Barbecue Hall of Fame in 2014.
As rightfully he should be.
Yeah. I hope that's not a spoiler for anything that's coming up.
Do you want to see a picture of him?
I've got one right here.
He's a very distinguished...
He's a nice-looking man.
Yeah.
He looks quite serious.
But he also looks like he would tell you a joke. And he would...
I think he's got a lot of knowledge and wisdom to impart. I was just going to say, in terms of sauce, did they ever launch a range or anything like that?
They did, and it is still on sale today.
Okay, good.
So I looked at the BBQSuperstars.com ranking of 269 sauces.
What?
They rank it based on total sales, overall reputation, and overall taste.
Okay.
The Arthur Bryant sauce.
Yeah.
Number 37.
Oh, so it's in the Bryant name rather than the Perry name.
Yeah, because Arthur Bryant, I guess he took it over longer.
He took it on, not just the restaurant, but then the sauce.
And commercialized the sauce.
Can you, because for me, the reputation, it takes reputation into account. Can you just go by reputation, or is it like an overall score
I think
for all of them?
It looks like an Angel Fire website that some guy is maintaining, and God bless him, because...
What's the other one? GeoCities.
Yeah. He's keeping the dream alive. I'm sure his MySpace account is very active.
He's got loads of friends. Has to keep reorganising his top 8.
But one thing I kind of found in my reading of barbecue sauces was there are some controversial ingredients.
How controversial are we talking?
Well, I think it's
like
controversial.
smack?
I know. What?
Okay. Well, it's brown, isn't it?
No.
What?
Wow, no. I was going to talk about Coca-Cola and Dr. Pepper
It's
in
not
your
controversial.
how do you feel about cooking with cola?
I'm a registered Coca-Cola addict, so it's fine.
I feel like it's a
great.
weird thing to cook with.
No,
to
it's
glaze
nice.
a sauce, make a sauce out of.
Have you never had that gammon in Coca-Cola?
No, I haven't.
It's very nice.
Okay, well, that stumps me for the controversies there.
So there's that is in it all the time, or is
No. There's just like
there are certain recipes that have
where
got
you
that in it?
can
Okay.
put like Coca-Cola
Yeah.
or Dr. Pepper in as your sweetening agent.
Yeah, and sort of one of the things about barbecue sauce, I think, sort of a traditional one, is that it's quite sticky, and that was obviously what you will get that by putting in a very sticky liquid like Coca-Cola.
Yeah, and that's
or
what you
Dr.
get with like the Kansas, Memphis sort of sauces
Yeah.
because they have that molasses-y sort of extra
Yeah.
to it.
Yeah,
But yeah, I found here in the UK, barbecue sauce has this very weird fake smoke flavor, like just pummeling you as soon as you eat it. Whereas in Canada, I'm going to use like McDonald's
Canada's
as like
so
the
much
brand
better.
standard for judging this.
right.
But like,
Yeah. I mean, who wouldn't? Yeah,
obviously. But like a barbecue sauce you get for nuggets in McDonald's in the UK, super smoky.
Yeah.
In Canada, it's very sweet. It's
oh, right, okay.
it's more like a
What,
it's
sort
like
of a subtler.
yeah. You're not getting the smoke. You're just kind of getting like a savory sweet.
I think I'd prefer that.
I prefer it.
Yeah, I think I would.
I
That might make me more of it, because it is the sort of unrelenting smokiness that you get off most of them that just makes me think, well, it just sort of tastes a bit like it's been burnt.
yeah. I feel like something was lost in translation
Yeah.
in bringing that condiment across the pond here.
Absolutely, yeah.
Where all of a sudden you're just getting like fake smoke. I don't know what you call it. Like it's probably like chemical agent 467.
Non-brewed condiment.
Non-brewed condiment.
I feel like the cultural similarities between those states of America and the UK are probably very, very limited. and that might be one of the reasons why we don't quite manage to replicate the subtleties and the strengths of the barbecue sauce canon.
Well,
All those other types
the
still
thing
exist,
is,
right?
though, yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. But like barbecue sauce, it's a top condiment worldwide. I've got news stories.
Sales-wise, you mean? Popularity-wise?
Popularity-wise.
Yeah.
Barbecue sauce
I think
around
it's-
the world.
Yeah, it's not like a regionalised
It's become
sauce.
something much
It's
bigger.
a global phenomenon,
And
I reckon.
with that in mind, I've got some worldwide barbecue sauce-based news.
Good.
I've got a story from Australia, the UK, and USA. Where would you like to start our journey around the world?
Right here at home, please.
Okay. How many chicken nuggets could you eat in one sitting?
Quite a few.
Could you eat 85?
No, not that many. I was thinking like 20.
Could you eat 85 chicken nuggets in under 6 minutes and 20 seconds?
No.
Then you will never beat Nugzilla.
Zilla.
So-
What's the recent? This is a recent phenomenon, as far as I'm concerned. The sort of manic obsession with chicken nuggets, specifically McDonald's chicken nuggets.
Okay.
I don't really know where it's come from.
I don't know either. It just probably tastes like childhood. We were
Yeah,
all brought
probably.
up on
It's
it.
an
It has that
infantile thing that-
nostalgic sort of flavor.
yeah.
And it's really harmless, like,
And the
as
internet-
a food that you can add anything to it and it tastes great.
The internet is like anything infantile. It's sort of it just boosts to ridiculous proportions, doesn't it? So,
Yeah. Well, if you are in the mood for Nugzilla, you need to head to the Rub Smokehouse, which has branches in Beverly, Birmingham, Newcastle, and Nottingham. And it basically
not any
what
close ones, is there?
no, but I feel like we need to go and do an
Beverly,
episode.
is that in Yorkshire?
I think so.
Yeah.
They basically have created one giant chicken nugget that is the equivalent of 85 nuggets, and it weighs 1.5 kilograms.
That is disgusting.
They take the minced chicken, they bread it, they deep fry it.
Yeah.
They serve it with a bottle of barbecue sauce.
Okay.
If you eat the entire nugget
Yeah.
and a bottle of barbecue sauce in under 6 minutes and 20 seconds, you will get your meal for free and a t-shirt in the post.
I can't give you the t-shirt there and then. They have to post it to you.
It's in the post.
I wonder where they got the time from, that 6 minutes, 20 seconds.
Because
Is that trial and error?
No, because there's currently like a ranking list. The
Okay.
fastest person who's done it is at 6 minutes and 20
So if
seconds.
someone-
If you can beat his time.
If someone beats it, then that would become the time you have to beat. Okay, yeah.
Anyway, so I got in touch with them because
Because of course, yeah.
because I'm me. And I sent them an email asking like, hey, you're making this Nugzilla.
Yeah.
What barbecue sauce do you serve with
Oh,
it?
good question, yeah.
Because it's a lot of nugget.
Yeah.
And you don't want like, I wouldn't want a Carolina. Wouldn't want some vinegar.
Which one was the
doused in
Carolina,
it.
the vinegar one?
Yeah. So he said, thanks for getting in touch with us. In the store, we have a homemade sauce, which
Okay.
is in the influence of Kansas City.
Oh, so they did know the business, though.
Oh, they knew the business.
Oh, that's good.
It is smooth and sweet with a slight tang. And we chose it because it pairs well with smoked meats.
Right.
But if I was going to pick a sauce to pair with Nugzilla, I would go for another creation. I would go for our honey barbecue sauce.
I like that one.
Which is sweet, a thin sauce, and suits best for dipping.
Yeah. I had a honey and what was it? Some sort of chili sauce dipping with some chicken, fancy chicken nuggets in a bar in Manchester once. It was delicious. Honey, I think it was Jack Daniels, and I want to say Tabasco, but I don't think it was Tabasco. It was some other spicy one, but it was so nice.
I think that, like, when you're looking at barbecue sauces, like, it is such a big tent because you do have these sweet, spicy ones that can really elevate a chicken drumstick.
For me, that it's a bit like sort of craft beer, in the sense that you could sort of go and sample the different types and go, oh yeah, no, I like a.
You could go like really deep cuts into it.
Yeah, I like that. You can really taste the Kansas in this one, and like, but it's got a kind of hint of Memphis or whatever it was, the other ones you said. That's quite appealing to me. The variations in the flavors, and I think if that was more widespread here, I would be way more on board with barbecue sauce than I am.
I agree with you because I think kind of what you're exposed to out here is not great.
It's not good enough.
It's not. It's like Kraft. It's all made by Kraft and or Heinz, and it doesn't have flavor. It just has smoke.
It's probably it's similar to the whole. If you want to have proper Guinness, you got to go to Dublin for it. Like if you want to have proper barbecue sauce,
Buy American.
You've got to go to America or buy specifically made in American.
Yeah,
made in America sauce.
Yeah. Splash out. Go to the special American section in Tesco. Buy the American sauces.
Yeah, definitely.
Next on your world tour, where would you like to go? Australia or the USA? USA.
I would like to go to Australia because I think Australia is quite famous for its fondness for barbecue. So I would like to know where that fits into the puzzle, if possible.
Okay, so this is a headline from a local Australian newspaper. Barbecue sauce mascot grilled after being caught swearing at opposing fans and flipping them the bird following embarrassing loss. As Board says, he will keep his job. Basically,
There's a lot
let's
to unpack there.
this.
Grilled, not literally grilled,
No, so
as in sort of interrogated.
yeah.
Yeah,
Australia,
yeah, big place.
big place. Back in October, they had an A-League game.
Yeah,
What is that?
I believe it's it's not football. Is it football? Or is the A-League the Aussie Rules football?
Sure. So they had an A-League game, and a barbecue sauce bottle was the mascot for a company called Master Foods.
A-League is the football league, not the Aussie Rules.
Okay. So they're at a football game. There's a bottle of barbecue sauce that's a mascot, like a giant man dressed up as a bottle of barbecue sauce, and his team starts losing, so he just starts giving the finger to everyone.
To everyone?
Or to the opposing fans.
Well, yeah, that's fair enough.
There is video of it on the internet, and I found a picture where it's just like a giant ketchup bottle mascot with his like hands blurred out because he's making a rude gesture. he was filmed giving the finger, and then his friendlier tomato sauce mascot that was next to him was seen spurring the fans on instead. And at Master Foods, they warned the mascot that...
I've just seen the picture. It's brilliant. He's not even got a face. It's just a big bottle swearing.
Master Foods warned the mascot, but they said that he'll be back for the next game.
They say he's going to be back. It could be anyone inside that suit.
He'll see another game.
Yeah.
I can only imagine how hot it would be to be dressed up as a giant barbecue sauce.
In Newcastle.
Yeah.
Newcastle, in Australia. But
Australia's Newcastle.
Newcastle Jets that were playing, losing to... Oh, no, they beat the Central Coast Mariners.
Yeah.
I think that's who Tim Cahill played for.
I don't know who that is.
No, that's fine. You shouldn't. 5-1 they lost. I mean, if I was one of their fans dressed as a big barbecue sauce bottle, I would be flipping birds all over the shop after a 5-1 defeat.
I don't know if he was like just a fan dressed up, or if he was just like a part of the street team for Master Foods.
Yeah, that's what it looks like to me, because there's nothing on his costume that indicates that he's
going to the darts or anything like that.
He is tied to the club. It's clearly some sort of commercial tie-up that they've had there. They've gone, yeah, come along, bring your guy that's dressed like the barbecue sauce.
Can you just
but
imagine?
Not the sweary one.
Can you just imagine like the email chain that went to the CEO
after that happened
about like, oh, we've had to reprimand the mascot of barbecue sauce for lewd behavior, but I guess like said in an Australian accent.
Let's not do that.
Yeah,
it would be like
they
would phone you up and you'd start to hear them explain what has happened, and you'd be laughing because you'd be like, well, this is obviously a joke, and then they would not laugh with you. They would continue being serious, and then you'd realise that it was serious, and you'd have to...
That would be like, getting sent to the principal's office dressed as a giant bottle of barbecue sauce.
Flipping
we will post the
way.
picture. It's amazing. Like,
it is brilliant. Final stop is back into the US of A.
Yeah, I'm going to take you to the Memphis International Airport.
Mm-hmm. Never been, but I'm sure it's nice.
What do you think is the most confiscated item by the TSA?
What, at that airport?
Yeah.
Specifically?
Mm-hmm.
What, I mean, using my knowledge of what we're talking about now...
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to say barbecue sauce.
Oh, you nailed it. TSA...
What, people smuggling in, like, substandard barbecue sauce?
No, so, like... TSA, the people who are like manning the gates, getting you through, they're
so friendly, those guys.
They're so friendly, charming people. They confiscate 20 to 30 pounds of barbecue sauce out of people's luggage as they go through security a week. 20 to 30 pounds a week of barbecue sauce is just heading to the bin.
Nearly 14 kilograms. I just had to convert it because I don't really know how much that is.
14 kilos of barbecue sauce. To keep this in perspective, they confiscate 26 firearms in a year from the Memphis airport.
How much do they weigh, though?
Didn't ask that. But I hate that feeling when they take something off of you that you should be able to have, and especially I think what really puts
barbecue sauce.
Yeah, and like what really puts the salt in the wound is that on the other side of security in the gift shops,
they've always got it for sale.
You can buy that barbecue sauce. You didn't need to smuggle it in the first place, and then you have to re-buy it.
That is, I mean, that what airport was it?
Memphis.
That is weird. Is that just people that are going to other places that know that they are going to be served substandard barbecue sauce,
no,
so they're taking their own with them?
Tourists taking some barbecue sauce with home to share with their family, and they're getting it
and they're having it taken off them.
Yeah, and it just gets destroyed. Like send it to a food bank.
Yeah,
it makes me sad.
Yeah, well, send it to me because I don't like the. I want to try it. I want to have some more.
Maybe we should send a self-addressed stamped envelope
to the airport.
Yeah.
Please put.
How did I say envelope? What was that? Envelope. Let's send a self-addressed stamped envelope to the Memphis International Airport TSA.
Is it envelope or envelope? I think it's envelope. I heard someone talking about it the other day. Adam Buxton on his podcast was talking about how you pronounce things.
Envelope?
Yeah.
It's all sounding the gibberish to me now.
Let's carry on.
I don't know which one's right, and I don't know
No, I can't remember either.
Towards.
I can't remember. Is it going on the list?
I think so. I want to put it on the island.
What do you want to take off?
I would like to take off mayonnaise.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Because I think that barbecue sauce has a much more deeper flavor profile than mayonnaise. You can use it on more things. Sandwich. If you put on any sandwich, where it's like your lunchtime sandwich or your breakfast sandwich.
What about your dinner sandwich?
Dinner sandwich as well, if you're really sad.
If you're having 3 sandwiches a day.
Who's eating 3 sandwiches a day?
All with barbecue sauce on them.
But I think it has like more flavor than mayo. I think it has like, I think it's great. I love barbecue sauce. Like, it's my top choice for if I'm getting nuggets, if I want barbecue sauce. I love barbecue sauce. You can't take this away from me.
I feel like I need to justify my agreement with you, because I started at the top of the episode saying that I wasn't that fussed by it and that it was brown mayo. For me, mayonnaise is mayonnaise, pretty much. Like, it's all the same. And while I'm not generally that impressed by most sort of off-the-shelf barbecue sauces that you can get, in my time, I have had some delicious ones, particularly that one I was talking about earlier that I couldn't remember what the full ingredients were, but that doesn't matter because I bloody loved it. It was delicious. I feel, and also that whole craft beer kind of element to it, that I think you could probably you could have a lovely adventure exploring the barbecue sauces.
It's a condiment, it's a marinade, it can do so many things to like make things taste good. And
if we haven't kind of really outlined exactly how it's going to work on the island, like whether you, what I'm getting at is that if there's like a cupboard that sort of replenishes condiments, is that how it's going to work?
Yeah. It's a magic cupboard, unlimited stock.
As long as you don't have to select a particular barbecue sauce, but you can have, you know, different variations of it, as long as they fall under the umbrella of barbecue sauce. Do you think the cupboard will allow that?
I think the cupboard will bend to whatever rules we force it to.
The condiment cupboard god would allow this.
And plus, we're on an island. We need some sweet, sweet barbacoa.
What method of cooking are we most likely to use when stuck on an island? Barbecue. So how could we not have barbecue sauce
in this delicious sauce?
It's on.
Yes.
It's in the cupboard.
Yes.
And mayo is out, which leaves us with ketchup, brown sauce, guacamole, English mustard, and barbecue sauce. That's quite a good cupboard.
To be honest, I'm not disappointed with any of those, and I think the next episode is going to be really hard for me personally.
The only one there that's sort of not real tangy is guacamole, isn't it? Ketchup isn't tangy, but it can be. But
it's going to be a fight to the death on the next episode to see if they all stay or if they are replaced.
If someone goes. Well, without further ado, we should probably leave it at that and leave people on a cliffhanger of what's coming in 2 weeks' time. Thanks very much for listening, everyone. That was episode 8.
I think so.
You can find us on Twitter.
Desert Island Dip singular.
You can find us on Facebook.
Desert Island Dips plural.
You can email us.
And tweet us all your fun condiment links of stories that you find.
We like condiment news, don't we?
We love condiment
I think we've
news.
Displayed.
We have weird Google alerts set, or at least I do.
I follow a lot of strange brands on Twitter now.
I follow a lot of Japanese condiments now because their advertising is much better than what we're getting over here.
You don't see many condiment adverts, actually, do you? Thanks very much for listening. We will be back in a couple of weeks with another episode of
Desert Island Dips.
Bye.